Hey, what's going on, everybody? Drama22 coming back into the video here. Excited that there's a poach patch cover 4 fix. Okay, so we're going to take a look at it. We're going to take a look at a few routes here to see how it's changed. Really going to focus on bunch and box coverage. Okay, going to start there because everybody knows that maybe box had its issues. I wasn't that angry with it, to be honest with you. I thought it was a lot better than what it was last year at the beginning of the cycle, but I'll say what, it's been fixed. I think there are a lot of positives to playing the coverage now against tight formations. We're going to take a look at it versus 2x2 in a different video versus stacks, but let's focus on bunch because I feel like that's the #1 formation to take a look at. No, it's only been a change in Madden 25 so far, which is the first time this year that I think Madden's gotten a patch in coverage over college football. So I'm assuming college football is going to get the same patch at some point soon. But the good thing is that because it's not in college football, I was able to go back and watch and show you guys some particular routes in college football so that you can actually see it and how it's played, how it was played before. And now you can see it, and I'll show it to you in Madden, the same route and how it's playing currently now. Okay, so a little bit of a before and now. Going to talk about some routes, see how it's playing. I will let you know if you wait to the end of the video, guys. There will be an issue that we need to talk about, you need to be aware of. It's not a corners issue right now, but it's a coverage issue with a different match coverage. Too high safety match coverage could be a problem. You need to learn how to fix it. I'll show you how to fix it. I'll let you talk about it. All right, so I'm gonna jump right into these clips, give it to you, and also at the end I'm going to tell you again, join the Patreon if you want. I'm going to go through more video of more different clips, and you can kind of get a feel for other routes that might have some problems. I'm going to post that later on. See you guys in the next clip. Okay, let's take a look at 473 college football game. We'll take a look at some of the major issues here and then just take a look at it on Madden next. What you see here to start is that the corner route, all right, it's going to be leveraged by the corner. All right, you can see his leverage is a little bit too high. It's almost as if he's not really reading any receivers. It's almost like he's playing just regular zone drop defense. So that's one of the issues. Also, I think the issue, it's a kind of a small thing, but the nickel, he is working to the flat, which is fine. He takes first to the flat, but he's a little bit too fast. One of the common issues is if you try to overrun this play as a nickel, then you could get the flat runner running a double move, running back inside. Nickel buys him, and he's out leveraged. So you want to work off the inside hip. All right, so let's take a look at this route on Madden and see how it compares. All right, let's take a look at Madden. Yeah, much better. Picked off on the very first attempt. Very good. You can see how the corner is actually playing that route with body position and leverage the right way. So take a look at this, right? Last time we got this, where the corner route was actually still open, especially if you pass led it the right way. But see how this corner now is playing on top of him? He's doing a good job. He's playing not on top of him. He's playing more even shoulder. I apologize. It's not so heavy. He was about 5 yards on top of the guy last time. So in position to make a play on it. Now, interesting to see how the safety plays. He's playing a little bit more depth, which is okay, as long as, especially if we're expecting, switch routes down the field. We'll take a look at that poach player later. Look at the flat player. Looks about the same, right? I think I heard reports of, now he's still out in front of him. I heard reports of him jamming #2. I didn't quite see that in my studies, but whatever. I think we're pretty good here. Let's take a look at it one more time. Make sure that wasn't just a glitch. Yeah, that's pretty good. That ball's being contested right there, and that's what you want. Let's take a look at the next route. Okay, this concept is pretty much a flood concept. I think everybody knows it. We're work decisions concept as well. One stays one, two goes to the corner. One of those situations where a lot of people can argue with me and say, well, that's not how it's supposed to be played. And I'll tell you that there's actually multiple ways to play it. Coaches coach it different. I'm actually okay with this as long as your safety is in good position to make this play and is ready for this type of route. But if you knew this route was coming, obviously you would want to switch this. These guys are down the field. They're both down the field. This is an easy tell that number two is working out. So the corner would come off and the safety will work to his new number two. So this is what I would call a zone it mentality down the field. Basically, almost like playing a banjo, but down the field, okay? After they get really to about 10, 15 yards, we know what's coming, so we're going to be smarter and we're going to make that play. But I'll tell you right now, there have been plenty of times where teams will mix it up and change this up and use double moves off of this type of stuff. And you want your guys to lock up man to man. But in this case, we are playing in the video game world. I do believe that switching this off is the best way to go. And that's what you're going to get now with the new patch on the Madden system. So let me actually put number one on a post, number two on a corner. Okay, and let's just take a look at this. This is going to happen the same way, right? Well, now there's really nobody. Actually, let me go back on that. This is just bad coding here, right? So the corner does stay with one, but he does it late. And this is something that happens a lot. It's like the corner says, oh, okay, I don't have him, but then he realizes he does and then comes over late. And we got guys running butt naked. So it's going to be a lot cleaner, all right? And that's a good thing. Let's take a look at it on Madden. All right, let's work this flood concept, turn it into scissors and flood. We'll start with flood. That's really nice, right? I mean, that's anticipation there, but that's what you want. And this comes from in real life watching film. I mean, you will see DBs play this, right? Now, I know there's going to be people out there that are going to try to break this right away, okay? But right off the bat, as they work down the field, you know they're going to switch, so we switch, right? We're basically playing the first outside vertical with the corner, and that's really the out route right there. It could be a corner out, it could be anything. And then the safety, looks like they got him playing with better leverage, right? When I say leverage for him, when I say leverage, guys, it could be inside, outside, high or low, okay? In this case, he's playing with more depth. And that's good because that allows for this switch to happen a lot cleaner. Okay. Back in the day, your safety would usually be closer and your corner would play back further, right? Or get out with a lot of speed so that if the switch was to happen, they'd be on different levels. Okay. But in general, that's pretty good. I love that. Let me just see what's going on to the flat real quick again. I don't think that's a big change. I think that's pretty much going to be the same. Yeah. Nothing really big there. All right. All right, curious to see now. Let's see what happens with the good old. Let me actually just back the ball up just a little bit here. Give myself a little more space. All right, let's take a look at just the post route right here. Looking at corner. Good old scissors combination. It's a little short, doesn't it? Let's see if we can get that post a little bit deeper. All right, here we go. Yep, those guys are playing it, man. Interesting how they made the backside guy get involved there. I did shout out to the game plan Discord. You guys put me onto this patch. I didn't even know it dropped until like an hour ago. But anyway, take a look at how they're incorporating the backside poach play, which if you can get that 5/3, that's really good. I wonder what happens when you play different coverages like cover 6. But for now, let's just focus on this. With that safety playing really over the top of everything and capping everything, he can kind of do this, right? He can pass this outside post off to the backside poach player. Okay, he's looking for the first, really he's looking for number 3 vertical, and that's what it becomes. Let me see if I can change this up at all. Okay, we're going to focus on really the front side of this route. We're not going to focus on the backside too much. We want to see if Box can play this out, how it plays it out. Now, I have no problem with the way the corner plays this and the way the nickel plays this, but obviously I have a huge problem with the way the safety plays this, okay? So it's 4/3. We should be able to handle this. This is technically what I talked about before is one staying one. So one stays one, the corner stays with them, all right? That allows the nickel to not chase that guy. He doesn't see that as a flat route. Even though that guy does go flat for about 3 or 4 steps, he sees the actual flat route coming from either 2 or 3, and who's the one that's going to the flat now? It's number 44. And then the rule's always been as soon as you take somebody in the flat, then you run with them in match coverage. Okay, you don't let them go. Now you have the backside safety over there. All right, he's reading the whole bunch, and he's going to take the first vertical to the inside. Well, that's obviously not number 1 out here, or this guy right here running this kind of pseudo wheel. It's going to be this player here. You can see him trying to chase that guy late, but he never gets there. And also, we can now see that there's no good backside poacher play. I mean, he's literally poaching, but he's really poaching air. Like, he's not doing anything. That's like he's not finishing his task. Okay. So that's just something to take a look at. That's a huge play to try to take care of. People will throw 4 verticals all day long if you let them. All right. Let's see if that box checks looks good in Madden. Okay, so let's take a look at 4 verticals versus quarters. And I hope that this is one thing that actually stays exactly the same. All right. Because if you don't, you can kind of open up some issues if you don't have the nickel playing it exactly like we just talked about in the last video. Okay. And I already see it right there. So the route is covered, right? You see that and you're like, hey, Geronimo, the route's covered. We're good. There could be a potential issue here. I hope not. Let's take a look at it. Okay. So we get our number 1 staying 1, right? So our corner stays with it. It's a little funky with his footwork there. I don't like that. However, you can see here, we already talked about the nickel. The nickel has to treat what? His flat is who? Kelce. He needs to stay on that. I don't know what he's doing here. He's kind of playing in the flat. He's not playing anybody. So in this route concept, from years of experience of doing this in real life, you have to change your nickel's responsibility back to what it needs to be. Because this can open up a can of worms. Let's keep looking at it, though. On safety, he's going to treat what? 2? Okay, so he's taking this like this is the second inside vertical. All right. And then we have our backside poach player saving our butt here. Okay. The problem is this is not box is supposed to be 4/3, not necessarily 5/3. If you are going to rely on this guy to take an over route, then you need to make changes in other coverages. So let's just take a look at this real quick. I kind of have an idea what I need to see next, but I just want to make sure you guys all understand. You guys would probably say quarters were good, and you are. If you want to play quarters versus this, you're in good shape. Okay, you're in good shape. However, I have to go to the rules of football and look at cover 6 next. Okay, so we'll take the same route and run it versus cover 6. Cover 6 is going to give you guys box to the quarter side. Okay, so we're playing quarters over to the right. So we have box 4/3. On the left-hand side, what do we have? Cover 2. So our safety over here is playing deep off. He's no longer a poacher, which a poacher is, again, just somebody who comes over and looks to hunt up number 3 going vertical. So what happens here? I'm hoping that they go back to their old rules and it's programmed to play box the way it was in college football. The way it is. And it's not. And look what happens when you do that. Wide open guy. So a little bit of a disappointment there. I hate to see that, but it's okay. I mean, maybe that could just be a change. If if EA can make it so that this is box coverage versus verticals the way it is currently in college football, the way it's been in Madden for the past couple of years, or at least for currently this year, your nickel needs to stay with 2. Go up the field. Your safety working, your number 3 is going to go over. Okay, your safety is still going to treat this like the second inside vertical. Okay, and 1 stays 1, so our corner stays on 1. Okay, that means you don't need to have an extra guy. This is an extra player when it comes to playing quarters and box. You don't need him. All right, so unfortunately, there's going to be nobody on this over route going across the field. And I'm sure if I put him on a post route, it would be the same thing. It wouldn't matter, right? Let me just make sure. Post route going down the field, the safety has to make a decision. Okay, I can only think a good thing about that is our number 3 worked up the field. And I was going to talk about our 3 receiver hook player. That would be the way to combat this right now. I'll give you the answer to that. I was going to say this. Number 3, or the 3 receiver hook player, he's the low part of the box. The only answer is that in cover 6, he needs to overcompensate now, right? Technically, there's nobody low. He probably wouldn't be backing up if you're using him, but there's nobody coming underneath. There's nobody going inside. So you know what? Let me go and take this guy in matchup number 3. This is a very similar concept. You can kind of put it in a category. When you play cover 6, right? Or even if you play quarters or palm, I'm sorry, not palm, play quarters or 6 to empty and 3 goes vertical, what do? You guys know this from my past. You got to take 3 vertical, right? So that could be something that we got to work on. I'm going to take a look at more formations in this whole deal, see what other changes have been fixed. I'm really encouraged though. I mean, the coverage is a lot better. So that's really good. It's definitely playable. You just have to be careful now with playing cover 6. Okay, you're gonna have to look into that a little bit. But you know what? That's what I'm here for. That's what other good content creators are here for, who break down the game from the coach's perspective and give you guys the inside information, even if from a video game perspective. Doesn't matter. We're gonna try to figure out a way to get it done. But we're in a good shape here. All right. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I'm only going to go through these 3 routes. I don't want to make this video too long. So if you have any questions or you want to ask me things, just hit me up in the comments. Come over to the Patreon. I'm going to keep on going. I think I have about like 10 more routes to go through here. So I'll keep on keeping the video, keep it on going on Patreon. I'll put that up later on tonight. Guys can take a look at what other concepts are changed or what you need to do. I'm kind of going through this right now. I mean, this is my first time seeing it, so trying to figure out on the fly. All right. I'll see y'all later, man. Peace.